Victory Tuesday edition of the Birds of the Round Table. Tonight, you have the second edition of the Reese and Niche show here with David to my left or my right. I don't know which way he is. David, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, man. I appreciate every single Eagles win. As somebody who might be a little older than some of the people who watch, I suffered through decades of losing seasons, so I will take unhappy victories all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of people who have seen some old victories, Krabby Oldman checking in. What's going on, bud? How you been? Yeah, listen. We're gonna address it off the top. Obviously they just went back to back after their bye against two very good playoff caliber teams in the North, beating Green Bay, beating according to Cam Newton, the offense that we've never seen before. Well, Cam, I don't know how to break this to you, bud, but maybe you should, get off ESPN and do a little more research about this defense. And that was the story of the day: is this defense shutting down this prolific offense, Jameer Gibbs and Amon Ra and Jared Goff, and again, they're good offensive line, and the defense stepped up. I mean, immediately, that first drive, getting the pick for Coop before you even turned around. He already had an interception. It was great to see. Obviously everybody wants to focus on the offense, and we'll get to it. But David, what's one thing that stood out for you on the defensive side of the ball that really helped carry the win here for the Birds?
Yeah, I'll mention two things. One, the defense, just everything is clicking for them. I mean, and like you said, we'll get to the offense, and but Jalen Phillips secured his first sack as an Eagle and has been a dominant force with 11 tackles, a sack, a fumble recovery, 12 pressures since arriving in Philadelphia. That type of midseason addition and firepower is just unheard of. I mean, we sat here for years and said, we don't really want Howie to make an in-season trade. They never work out. Well, this one's been okay.
Yeah.
Um, and that's one of the trench guys. Jalen Carter back to playing like he did in 2024. He's been phenomenal.
Yep.
Zach Bond paced the defense with 7 tackles. He's so good and consistent that it almost has been second nature. Nobody notices anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's overlooked. We don't even talk about it.
Yeah.
We talk about how great Dean is and how Jihad's coming by, and we just take for granted, we just have this all-pro Zach Bond on the team now, which has to be wonderful for you as a lover of linebackers. I mean, this is just an embarrassment of riches, literally. I think you've said it before. And then outside corner, Quinyon Mitchell. Put on a clinic, man. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's in the top 4 or 5 conversation of corners in the National Football League now. He's playing at an all-pro level. He's following the other team's, best receiver a lot. He's not just playing, exclusively on the right side. He's almost 50-50 now. But the guy who I'll highlight, Adoree Jackson, who has been pooped on by everybody for freaking
And their mothers.
yes, for 2 months. And he basically drew the toughest assignment. I believe he had the heaviest workload against Amon-Ra St. Brown. He matched up against him 11 times and only allowed 1 catch for 8 yards.
Yeah.
That's just unheard of, man. And I think we found CB2. It might not be the guy we all wanted. I'm sure the Eagles were very desirous of it being Keely Ringo. It's their draft pick. They've developed him. But Adoree's taken the job, and could the Eagles find themselves in another predicament next year, just like they did this year, where they're looking for CB2 again? Likely. but for this season, it's working. And, the fact that they did what they did to Goff is just unbelievable. I mean, he had no time to throw it. And it wasn't just the line. It's also the blanketed coverage on the back end. And it's also Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter's arms batting 5 balls all over the field.
Right.
I mean, it was crazy. Everything about the defense was good. You can pick any guy I just mentioned and have a show about them because they were all that good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. I'll kind of piggyback off of each thing. I mean, first and foremost, when was the last time you saw a defensive tackle or a defensive lineman have three batted balls in a game? It's rare. And for the fact that one of them turned into almost a pick six by Coop, and at pivotal times, and then you had Jalen Carter adding two of them. Yeah, Jalen Phillips has been just kind of the shot in the arm that this line kind of needed. I think it helps the interior. It helps the other edge players. I think it helps the linebackers. It's just multifaceted of just an embarrassment of riches, as you said. The linebackers itself. Yeah, it's funny. That's why I was kind of laughing. I thought the same thing. I was like, I love how we're just not mentioning Zach Bond anymore because he's just doing exactly what Zach Bond does, and he's the most consistent player on this team, constantly leading the Eagles, and we probably do take it for granted, and that's okay. Believe me, that's all right. And yeah, and Dean again has been the other big shot in the arm to this defense. It awoke this team and made a average run defense into a great run defense, and that's his doing, honestly. And the fact that he was out there in coverage, a couple of times, making some plays, awesome, absolutely awesome. And um, yeah, Q is Q. He's absolutely should be an All Pro. But yeah, you're right. Adoree Jackson shut some people up last night. He absolutely did. They have two really good and very fast wide receivers to go along with Jahmyr Gibbs, who was one of the fastest running backs in the league. And outside of two or three plays, I think total, the touchdown for Williams, and then there was like two quasi longer passes from Amon Ra. Uh, the defense shut them down, and Adoree was a huge part of that. Absolutely, it was great to see.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Goff had 0 completions on 12 attempts, resulting in 2 sacks for negative 12 yards when the Eagles pressured him on his 14 dropbacks. I mean,
He looked
it's
lost.
yeah. I mean, and they were 0 for 5 on fourth downs. I mean, it was suffocating. Everything the Eagles did basically worked the entire night.
Yeah,
And Cam Newton, apologies aside, Vic Fangio has seen every offense that the league has to
yeah,
offer.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
Like, come on, like, don't embarrass yourself, Cam. Like, come on. But yeah, it was really great to see these last two games taking two decent, pretty good offenses and shutting them down. Um, again, if I think it's funny because I think a lot of last year, and people are drawing from last year, obviously, and understandably, but we're taking kind of the most recent, and that was the playoffs, where the offense was just untouchable. The offense could do whatever it wanted. And it certainly did against the Chiefs. It certainly did against the Commanders. Like, those are fresher in our minds from when we think of last year. So it's extra frustrating to see the offense as it is now, knowing that we basically have the same offense and it's not producing the supposed same way. I just think there's obviously some differences, and obviously the offensive line is a huge part.
yeah.
The in and out of players. Obviously, now we're dealing with Lane Johnson, and we honestly don't know the full severity of it yet. I think
They
initial
don't
report,
either. They can't
yeah,
even they can't even give
yeah,
him an X-ray for
oh,
like 8 more days because of the
yeah.
swelling.
So they're saying initial reports were 4 to 6. From what I understand, and from what my memory serves me, normal Liz Frank is 6 to 8.
Yeah, it took Deuce Staley out for a season,
Right.
like way
Right,
back in
and
the
that
day.
was 30 years ago
Yeah, but I
when
mean, it did, and it's not a minor injury.
oh, not at all.
It's a bad problem,
It's a
and I
bad
knew it
problem.
was bad when he walked off the field. I don't know if they showed it on TV, but he was just mad.
Yeah.
He was beating
Yeah,
his
he's
hand. You
mad.
could tell he knew it was not good.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, this is going to be, he's going to be gone a month or more. And
I think the best case scenario we could hope for is that he comes back right in time for the playoffs.
yeah, and
And
thank goodness they
let's
traded for Fred Johnson.
yeah, thank God.
Can you
Oh my God,
imagine?
thank God. Thank God. Who would we be putting in there right now?
I,
Pryor?
I don't know, but that was a very late addition and proved to be very shrewd because
Yeah,
they'd be in some serious trouble.
absolutely. And again, that now when you think about the playoffs and that first round bye, that could be huge as far as the health and
Yeah.
getting in Lane Johnson.
And
Uh,
to transition from the offense, you talk about last year. Last year's offense, because the big comment this season is the Eagles' brand of football that the Eagles play isn't sustainable. It's too conservative. It's too turnover and risk averse. Um, and last season, really, it was predicated on big plays.
yeah,
Specifically, Saquon
Saquon
Barkley
Barkley,
busted
exactly.
60-yard running
Right.
touchdown.
I think he has 2 plays over 20 yards.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember how many it was last year. It was over 6 or 7, but they were explosive plays. He had 2 against the Rams in the divisional round alone. I mean,
Yeah.
without those explosive plays in the snow, they're not winning that game.
Yeah.
I mean, they were relying on that.
Yeah.
So when people say, this isn't sustainable, I don't know. I would counter with this conservative, risk-averse style of play has been their staple since Sirianni arrived. And Philadelphia is 40-2 when winning the turnover battle under Nick Sirianni.
Hmm.
So
Shocking.
I don't really think the powers that be care much about everybody else's opinions,
Nope.
and it's not going to change their mind or their approach. They've won like over 90% of the games when they played this way.
Yeah.
I like to quote that Jalen Hurts had yesterday when he said, this is the way we play. It's a staple of Nick. It's what we do. And some games are a little closer than they should be because we play this way,
Sure.
because they're not willing to take chances and score more points. But at the end of the day, we win the game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, right.
it's hard to argue. I agree. It's not pretty, but this, what they're lucky about, I mentioned it earlier, is that they have one of the best defenses in the league that's going to buy them more time to figure this out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And you mentioned it too. They struggled during the season last year too.
Yeah.
It just, people remember Commanders and Chiefs very
Right. Exactly.
know.
Like when you take outside of the Saquon Barkley 20+ yard runs, this team did struggle a lot offensively, and it took them a long time to get to that point.
And I think they averaged the same. I think Hurts averaged 180-ish yards passing
Yeah.
per game last year, 180-ish this year. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, it's really not that different. It's just I think we have that higher expectations after winning a Super Bowl, and we just had Offensive Player of the Year Saquon Barkley, who's not rushing for 2,000 yards this year, and people are pets' heads are falling off. You know what I mean? Like people are jumping off the bed.
I mean, it's not even much different than 2023, if you want to be honest. If Howie Roseman doesn't bring in Saquon Barkley before the 2024 season, do any of us really think they're celebrating a Super Bowl on Broad Street in February? Because I sure as hell don't.
I know.
I mean, hell, even Jalen Hurts went up to him after the Super Bowl
Yeah,
and said,
like,
this is you.
This is
I
you,
mean,
man.
I
You're
mean,
the piece. You're the last piece.
Saquon probably saved Sirianni's job, because if they don't do well, he's
Sure.
gone.
Sure.
Saquon got Kellen Moore a head coaching job.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
and no running back that ran for over 2,000 plus yards in a season's ever come back and been that effective the next season.
The next season, right? It
Ever.
takes a lot of rushes.
What did he carry the ball 380 times? Something insane.
Something crazy like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so.
Yeah. I mean, listen. Again, I think.
And their play calling does suck. I don't want to.
Yeah. Oh no. Listen. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's not very sharp, and it is at times pretty predictable.
Very.
But despite all of that, they are still doing what they need to do to score enough points more than the opponents. And isn't
That's all they care about.
ultimately that's all that's all that matters. And listen, I get it. Offense is sexy. Scoring 50 points on the Commanders in the playoffs was amazing. I can't tell you how I was tired from jumping up and down celebrating that day in the stands. So I get it, but I honestly do not care how they win football games. I care that their mindset is win over everything. And
And I
and,
think,
and you have a quarterback who believes that to to the day he dies. Like
yeah,
he believes that. And listen, to kind of segue this into the recent information that's come out. We have to at least address it. And I hate the fact that we have to. But we had to deal with them, and we still will. The AJ Brown stuff, that's never going to go away. At this point, I'm fully convinced that AJ Brown is just absolutely messing with the media because they're so desperate for stories. They're so desperate for, drama. But Derek Gunn, who is very well respected, came out and said many people within the organization. And to me, that means players, that means coaches, that means maybe higher up than that, are growing frustrated with Jalen Hurts and his how did he say it? His methods or his approach.
conservative approach, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but again, and you literally just said it though. It's really Sirianni who's instilled in this, you know, hey, don't turn the ball over. Do exactly just enough to get where you need to go.
Yeah.
And what did you say? 40-2 when they win the
40-2,
turnover.
and yeah, yeah, yeah. When they win the turnover battle.
Okay,
Um,
I'm
yeah.
good with that. Like, so I just obviously we've had a day to kind of digest. And David, you're obviously somebody who's been in the locker room, who's been around people. What's your take on this report? And
I mean, I don't, I don't know who in the world Derek would have spoke to get any of this. I'm anybody who follows me know I'm not a hot take person. I'm more defending Eagles players.
yeah,
Ryan and I talked about it pre-show. If I heard this, just assume it's true. I don't know if it is or not, but just in this, assumption here that this was true, I'd have kept it to myself. Because I wouldn't have wanted to been part of the problem.
right,
I can talk about it in March and say, God, the Eagles overcame. Look at everything they overcame and still won the
right,
Super Bowl.
right,
Or you know what? You want to know why it didn't work this year?
yeah.
This is what was happening. I
Uh,
would have never
yeah.
interjected myself into this. But that being said, like you mentioned, Gunn is highly respected. He's beloved by many in the organization.
Oh
If
yeah.
he was constantly wrong in slandering players without merit, I'd be shocked so many of them gravitate towards him. Um, he is close with a lot of guys, and that wouldn't probably be the case, I'm guessing, if he was misreporting everything people were
Sure.
saying. If you drive by his house, which is in the same neighborhood as DJ Jazzy Jeff, by the way, and you see in his backyard, he likes to grill and cook or whatever. A lot of times players are back there sharing a meal with him. I mean, this is a guy who is, tuned in with the team.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's hard to completely discount it. That doesn't mean that whoever said what they did to him, if it's true, exaggerated it. He wouldn't know. He's just telling you what he's heard.
Sure. Yeah.
Again, I would have kept that to myself. There's very little that I've ever seen or been told that would merit or warrant rather me having to keep it to myself. I'm just not as dialed in as somebody like
Right.
Derek Gunn.
Yeah.
But
Understandable.
but anything I do see and anything I have seen, I just shut up. That's just
Yeah.
me. And I think, like you said off camera, you're kind of the same way. Like I
Yeah. Oh
just,
yeah. I kind of posed it this is like as a journalist, you know, I guess I guess in your mind or when you get a story like this, you have to weigh whether or not this is an important story that needs to be told or is this story going to be the story? Is this going to be detrimental to this team that I cover? And I feel like if even for a little bit, if that is the case, if B is anywhere in the story, if I'm the story, or if this story becomes an issue or it's detrimental to the team, don't say it. Like you said, it could easily be talked about in the offseason as saying, hey, well, blah, 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 blah. They had to overcome this, or, this makes sense now because back in October, November, we had a lot of people come out and, this, that, and the other. That's exactly where you can still get your story out. You
Right.
just don't have to be a part of the problem.
And I think who was the other person putting out the AJ stories? I don't know what their name was.
Diana Rossini, that
Yeah.
her?
Okay. Yeah. Like a lot of the AJ Brown stuff, as far as AJ Brown
has
goes.
To be trolling.
Yeah. I mean,
it's almost funny at this point how much every week there's something,
and he did the meeting, but first off, one thing clear: AJ Brown is not the leak. He's not the confidant. This isn't Watergate. He's not Deep Throat. He he goes online and posts what he wants to say. You've seen it. He's not going behind anybody's back. It's him.
Yeah.
It's not a burner AJ Brown Twitter account. It's his.
Yeah.
He met with Lurie and offered to apologize. Reportedly, Lurie said that wasn't necessary, which tells you a little bit of that's a little intel.
That tells me a lot.
Right there. He just stated over and over he wants the ball. He wants to help. He probably is frustrated.
Yeah.
So is Saquon Barkley. So are the offensive linemen.
Yes, I'm sure Devontae wasn't thrilled that he only got one catch last night.
Right. Lurie wants a high-flying, powered offense. He's mentioned it many times.
Sure.
I mean, so I don't think it's like, you're opening, what was it, Geraldo's, what did he go to when he opened that safe, the Capone safe, and it was completely empty? That's what I feel like a lot of these stories are. They're just empty, nothing. I mean,
well, and that's the thing, especially with the major AJ Brown stuff coming from Diana Rossini, who, again, she's, national person looking for a story where there really isn't one, making a bigger deal about it. And then, it came out that, everything that, she was like, oh, well, he's absolutely going to get traded, blah, 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 blah. No, he wasn't. And so then she backtracked and she went another way. It's to me, I find it funny because this is, again, that whole thing of like, are you going to become a part of the story? And she has become a part of the story because it's drama for the sake of drama. And
it's a play. It's a play on words. Like I've been there before when they asked Howie Roseman about AJ Brown being traded or any player. Let's just say any player.
Sure.
And you know what his answer is going to be? The same every time. He's going to say, we'll listen to anything. Like, so I could go to my computer and say,
they're going to listen on AJ Brown.
Yes, right. That's it. So I could go to my computer and say, God, Howie just confirmed they're listening to offers on AJ Brown.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They're also listening to him on Jalen Hurts and Dom and anybody else. In the They don't care. Like, if you're going to throw me 14 first-round picks,
amen. Anybody's yours.
Right. I mean, so some of it you got to kind of take at, common sense value. Like, I mean,
but it's just funny how much legs that these stories get, and that you're just like, why are we talking about it? And then you listen to the radio 97.5 and 94.1. Well, more 97.5, where they're like, I can't believe we're talking about this AJ Brown thing. Well, here's the next 45 minutes about why AJ Brown. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Do you not get what you're doing? And then 94.1 is just, AJ Brown's got to get out of this town. He's a bum. It's the Philly media sometimes is just laughably just completely out of touch.
Well, if you look at what they're filed under, like with the FCC and stuff, it's not a news organization; it's entertainment.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when you listen to a lot of this crap.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so listen, let's shut it. No more D-Gun, Diana Rossini. Stop being part of the story. Let the birds play, okay? Now, it is officially Cowboys week.
Kelly Green week.
Kelly Green week as well, which is this will be the first time they've played a Kelly Green game away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since they brought him back.
Since they brought it back.
We're old enough to remember when they wore them away.
Well, right, yes, exactly. hence why I'm still very much in love with the Kelly Green. So, it's my childhood essentially. But
of course.
So Dallas last night just defeated the Raiders. Defense looked a little better, but then again, the Raiders' offense is kind of awful. And their offense looked great. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, and Javonte Williams are certainly doing their thing. And they obviously made quite some trades throughout this year. And their defensive line is especially in the middle is unreal. I mean, you get Leonard Williams, you get Kenny Clark. Those are two really good guys in the middle. But we also have pretty good guys in the middle as well.
They do.
So heading into this game, just seeing as what they did on Monday night and how the Eagles have looked. When you think about the Eagles offense going up against that defense, and where the defense traditionally throughout the year has been pretty bad, but they've been better lately. What's kind of a matchup that you're excited about for the Eagles offense versus the defense, and maybe give me one that might be a little bit concerning?
Yeah, I mean, the concern is obviously, and I could say this every single week, it's the Eagles offensive line versus whoever they're playing's defensive line. Yeah. This week is no, different due to injuries, a lack of cohesion. Everything the Eagles do is predicated on their ability to run the ball. We can talk about the play designs and how crappy they are and everything else, but they've kind of been like that for years. They've just were able to overcome it with great athletes. Sure. and big plays when it mattered. Their offense has been bland, predictable for a while. But the O-line has to establish, the trenches and start imposing its will in this run game. Nothing else works until that. To just not be completely negative about it. Mailata was really showing off the other night, man. I mean, he had his best game of the season, in my opinion.
Easily.
He didn't allow a pressure on 31 pass blocking snaps, and he was going against Aiden Hutchinson and Alem McNeil.
Yeah.
I mean, he put up a flawless sheet against, two really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's the matchup. And then as far as, something I'm excited to see, it's A.J. Brown, but not how they did it this week. They seem to overcorrect.
Yeah.
He had 3 targets.
How they were forcing it.
Yes. He had 3 targets. Now let's give him 13.
Right. Yeah.
And they asked Jalen Hurts about that because a lot of people will think, well, he has the autonomy to call the plays at the line. Maybe it's him. He said, well, you'll have to ask them about this one. So that it didn't sound like that was his, first desirable reads as well. So they overcorrected. You know what? He doesn't need 13 targets. That's not what he's, wanting. He wants to be productive. He wants to be a part of the reason they're winning. Yeah. He wants quality targets, Right. So the offense has got to do things. They got to change. I mean, the 3 tight end looks, the predictability with running every time they're in jumbo or Cameron Latou is on the field. I mean, it's just it's not pretty to watch. It's ugly, and it's not just their excuse that we're just trying to protect the ball. Yeah, well, you can protect it in some other ways as well, and try to be a little productive in the process.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think what I will say one thing that gave me a little bit of hope was, and I felt like we hadn't seen it in a few games, and then that was Jalen actually running the ball.
Yeah,
and I think that just that simple fact of having that in the defense's mind of he might pop and run it right up the middle. If he sees a seam, he could run for 15 yards. I think keeping that defense honest in that is just an extra hiccup that I think will allow their blandness, as you called it, to expand a bit. And some of these option plays that they don't seem to use much anymore. But I think those two things are things that could again just open things up a little bit easier on this offense.
Yeah, someone said something funny to me today. They were talking about the offense and the playbook and this and that. And they asked me, they said, well, why has it changed so much? I mean, they still have the playbook from 2022 when Shane Steichen was here. Just call the same damn plays. Like, and I was like, yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, it's not like he left and none of the plays are still remembered.
Right. It's not like they all forgot him.
Yeah, we all have amnesia and don't know what the hell happened. Like, I mean,
right.
So yeah, it's a fair point, and they do need to start integrating some better things and being a little more, less averse to risk, And
yeah, no, again, I think they're definitely a little too much, and it's okay to maybe pop it back, like 5% even.
Yeah, please.
Brett Eclipse. Sorry guys, I'm terrible with the comments tonight. Blame Shane.
Go to him.
Greg Calcaterra versus Kevin Patullo's irresistible urge to use him as a key blocker. Yeah, I'm
terrible.
Unsure why Calcaterra is asked to block a single thing,
and it's not his fault. He didn't come into the league as a strong blocker. No. He was a pass catcher,
right?
And
yeah, and
they're forcing him into a role he can't succeed at. And that's why he's ranked 85th out of 88 tight ends in run blocking grades. I mean, I could know all the plays in the book too, but guess what would happen if I got on that football field? I'm going to get destroyed. I'm going to get worked. It's not my strength in life, and that's not his strength in life. And, you're trying to fit, what is the phrase, a round peg into a square, whatever,
or a square peg into a round hole,
whatever that phrase is.
Something into something else.
You get the point, and that's just not his strength. And don't do it. Get Latu on the field more. Look what happened when he throws a block out there. Do something.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's why I think as much as I've been begging for a tight end too. Yeah, I mean, listen, it would be nice if, since we're not going to have, the next tight end, it would not be nice to just have one that's, just a blocker, and then you have one that might be just the pass catcher. So, like, your third tight end could be the blocker, and the second tight end could be the pass catcher. So, if Goddard goes down, you have somebody that can come in.
Yeah.
And again, it's not like it's going to really hurt the, predictability that much if you put one for one and one for the other, So,
nope.
Yeah, it's
they've already done that.
So. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, switch it over to the Eagles defense, the vaunted Eagles defense versus the Dallas offense, which again has been playing at a good level. I mean, George Pickens it seems to be a really good fit in Dallas.
Yeah.
And, Javonte Williams, again, seems to be a really good fit in Dallas, coming from Denver. He was injured, and he seems to find himself a nice home. I mean, he's certainly not going to, win an MVP, but again, I think he's having his best year by far. Same with George Pickens. What's one matchup you're excited? Our defense against their offense, and one that has you a little concerned.
Yeah, I think for one, Dak Prescott is not risk averse. He slings the ball. If you remember the first game, likely the only reason the Eagles walked off of week one with the win was because of CeeDee Lamb's drops. Quite frankly, it was like 4 or 5 of them. It was
on. Yeah, he's not
uncanny. It was so. They got their hands full with Pickens and Lamb, and Dallas typically plays them very hard.
Yeah.
One thing they didn't face Dallas was Jalen Carter because of pregame shenanigans.
Yeah.
So they didn't see him.
Right.
So they are going to see two Jalen's on defense that they haven't seen before.
That's true.
Phillips and Carter.
Yeah.
And I think it all, the success all is predicated on the pressure and not letting Dak run, you know, become a threat with those pass plays that, get thrown down the field 20 plus yards for big plays,
Yeah.
contain him. Jalen Carter's playing out of his mind. He looks like 2024 Jalen
He is
Carter.
ramping up.
Yes, and perfect time, as the season progresses.
Yep.
He's playing more snaps again than almost anybody else in the league at his
Yep.
position.
Yep. Yeah.
So you can't step up because him and Ajomo, let's give him a little shout out too. He's been playing fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, that play against the Gibbs, that was huge.
Yeah, so I think the pressure, the pass rush, the two Jalen's Dak didn't have to face last time except
Yep.
for wiping off his jersey.
Also,
It's
also
going
didn't see Nakobe.
no, correct. So I think it's a much different team. So they got their hands full. I mean,
Yeah.
the Eagles defense, they always said, defense wins championships. Well, the offense is maybe going to prove that for them this year because they're going to have to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You said it perfectly. When Dak is forced out of the pocket and he kind of is rolling, to his right, he just has this. He just can give him credit. He can just whip it down there. And again, at that point, it's probably already 5, 6, 7 seconds. It's hard to ask any D back to cover for that long. So I think that's where he certainly shines a lot of the times. But again, this is going to be another tough matchup for Adoree. I know CD sometimes can certainly play the slot, but I think Adoree's going to see one of them, certainly more than the other. And again, if he can play like he did on Sunday, I have every faith that they'll win this game. But you're right; it's most likely going to come down and be a very close game because Dallas just always plays as well, and we always play them well. It's one of those things where there are, a very small amount of the matchups end up in blowouts. So
Yeah.
for sure. So all right, well then, if that's the case, we've talked about the O, we talked about the D. What is your score prediction, and give me an MVP for the game?
My score prediction is a little higher than I wanted it to be. I picked the Eagles to win 27-24. I do think the defense is capable of shutting it down more, but Dak is pretty mobile, and at the end of the game, things just get weird a lot of times. Like it might be 27-14 at some point, and then they'll just end up scoring some points because that just seems to be what happens in the NFL. The Eagles seem to love being in single score digit games. I mean, the NFL is desirous of it. It just happens. So I went 27-24 and I went player of the game with AJ Brown. I just think instead of force feeding him, the ball every look, I think you just need to give him some quality looks.
Right. Yeah.
Dallas's DBs are not the best. I think this is a type of game he could do well in. And I think I've picked him twice this year, so third time's the charm. He's going to pull it out for me this week and get a touchdown, 100 plus yards.
There you go. Absolutely love it. I'm going to go with a score of 20 to 16. A little weird score, but Birds, of course. And I'm going to go with. Ooh, I'm going to go with a Dallas Goddard game because again, I'm not a huge fan of their linebackers, and I think Dallas has an opportunity to eat in the middle. While the corners are worrying about Devontae and AJ, Dallas might find himself a nice seam or two a couple of times. So
He's having a hell of a year.
yeah, honestly, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him, this offseason for sure. So considering the last couple of times they've already had their heir apparent, on the roster. So, and God help me, so help me God, if Calcaterra is anywhere in their plans for the future. Well, anyway, that's all we got tonight. Sorry for the comments. Appreciate everybody for making them. I'm just terrible at this, or at least not used to it.
You're better than me. I haven't even looked at them. So.
There you go. There was this one I wanted to bring up. I just know if we had an armchair scouts going, we'd see plenty of more tackles being scouted this year. You're absolutely right. We are, again, as it gets closer, to that time of year, we will be bringing it back for sure. Who knows? Maybe we'll do kind of a college playoff preview and do a little scouting then. So always stay tuned to that, and always make sure you stay tuned to the Eagles Pin Pull Network. We apologize. We've been having a little issue with our Facebook. We're hoping to get that ready to go by the next Birds of the Round Table. We figured out what the problem is, so we're going to fix it. But most of you are YouTubers or X. We appreciate you guys. Of course, Krabby, Brett Eclipse, a couple other people here. Appreciate you guys as always. We do miss the other regulars that we haven't seen in a while. So hopefully we'll get those guys back. Shane unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, but we'll see him back next week, where we'll hopefully have another Victory Tuesday against them Cowboys, and then we'll celebrate Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Send all your Facebook complaints to @Mark Zuckerberg. And quick shout out to Kenny Gainwell, who's just continues to be a force for the state of Pennsylvania in some capacity.
Oh man, yeah, I saw. I was like, my God, he scored more touchdowns than he ever did as the Eagle.
Yeah,
what is happening?
He's been pretty fun to watch, actually.
Honestly, you're not wrong. He's been pretty darn good.
Scrappy little dude, man.
He sure is. So, well, hopefully he keeps it up, and hopefully the Eagles keep their winning ways, even though we may not like it, even though it may not be sexy. A win is a win is a win. So,
and just enjoy it, because complaining about it on Twitter isn't going to change anything.
And you can ask Krabby. We've all seen, the 3-13s and the 4-12 years, and
yeah,
it gets ugly. So at least we have fun things to watch. So, but that's going to be it for us. Thank you guys all very much for checking in and tuning in. We will see you guys next week. So, David, real quick, what do you got going on? What do you want to plug? What do you want to say? Floor is yours.
Yeah, you can just follow everything I do on my X account, and just continue to support all of this. We love doing this every week. It's been a little bit more challenging this season because some people, just had other commitments and everything, but we're still trying to come out here and do this every week, and still hopefully entertaining you guys. So it was without Shane, but hopefully the Reese and Nee show was somewhat decent. I think, we got offers from CBS and NBC to go national, so
we're mulling it over.
Yeah, we're weighing it out.
So. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But appreciate y'all. Again, you can follow me right here at Philly Sports PSA on X. And yeah, just make sure you're tuned into the Eagles Pin Pull Network. We have plenty of shows for whatever taste that you like. I will be on tomorrow at about 5:30 for the Football Smack Talk show with Eric. And tune into the other shows, and we will see you guys next week. So everybody have a great weekend, and go Birds.